Thanks for the help on Terrace. G-Coln was your target. Decent of you to let me in for the capture.
Couldn't let him keep dragging your clan's honor through the dirt.
Vor Intye. Looking forward to this. Not everyone gets to fight beside the champion of the Great Hunt.
I can think of better things for us to do than fight.
Something to consider. Say the word. I'm ready to move out.
So, this is home. A little spare, don't you think?
Blame the previous owner.
Oh, found yourself a fixer-upper, huh? She's not bad, just needs a little TLC. A couple bounties ought to go a long way to sprucing the place up. Think about it.
Couldn't hurt to make this bucket a little more livable.
Oh, I can recommend some folks who keep a good selection of before-market parts so as not to strain your budget. We can't all be fabulously wealthy criminal masterminds, but this bounty hunting gig seems straightforward enough. Besides, I like the idea of doing the chasing for a change, even if I am slumming it. Oh, it's good to relax. This is as close as I'm getting to it these days.
Something wrong?
Wrong? Oh, yeah, that's putting it lightly. I'm going nuts here. I've spent so long keeping one step ahead of somebody, I can't believe I've lost them for good. At least when I'm out with you, I usually know where the blaster fire's coming from. Keeps my mind off trouble. Mostly.
The less time you and Trouble spend together, the better.
You've got a marvelously camouflaged sense of humor, you know that? Let's see how easily you brush off your old instincts and catch 40 winks after you've spent 30 years bounty hunting.
If you're not up to something, let me know before it becomes a problem.
Ah, I'm just in a funk. Come on, I think I've had my fill of all this cheering up. You know, you're pretty quick to sniff out an opportunity for profit.
I like to think I know my business.
Ooh, there's no doubt about that. I wonder how much more lucrative our little partnership could be if you applied that intuition to something other than bounty hunting.
I'm not opposed to a little moonlighting.
Can't afford to keep all your chips at the same table, am I right? Let me see if I can come up with something that'll play to your strengths, and I'll trust you to recognize a good opportunity when you see one. I've been thinking it over, and I see a lot of room for improvement maximizing your profits. Take catching me, for example. Sure, you got a nice bounty from the Great Hunt, but why stop there? You just need to use a little imagination.
And what did your imagination come up with?
A few words in the right ears, and you could make a lot of money on poor Tiresias's remains, if you don't mind double-crossing crime lords. Offer the body, see who bites, rob them blind. Couldn't be simpler.
Are all of your schemes this blunt?
It's not the most elaborate con, but you're new at this. Besides, the scams are a lot less risky when you know you can vaporize anyone in the room. So, that suggestion I had involving my duplicate? Turns out there are a lot of folks out there who've still got a bone to pick with the late Tiresias Loci. A little friendly competition couldn't hurt our final take. I'm thinking an auction would do the trick.
I'm open to anything that'll boost our profits.
That's just what I wanted to hear. Give me some time off the ship, and I can handle the whole thing by proxy. The only finger you'll have to lift will be the one accepting your credit transfer.
Take as long as you need.
I'll be back before you know it. What, no parade? No, not even a cake? How about at least mustering a good to see you for the guy holding your share of the credits?
Sorry to disappoint. Take a drink instead?
Well, just this once. You're cut. Pretty good take, considering the expenses. The bidders really couldn't wait to take Tiresias off our hands.
I didn't expect much to come of this.
I know you didn't, which, if you'll recall, was my point from the start. You might say I've got some experience duping these suckers. 3 pirate crews, 10 free traders, 2 exchange bosses, half a dozen huts, 1 I don't even remember crossing. Kept licking his lips. I think his name was Druga. It was quite the rogues gallery. A lot of familiar faces. Brought back memories, let me tell you. Oh, I picked up a little souvenir from the Royal Museum. I thought we could make sure these get put to better use.
Glad to see you're actually making yourself useful.
A little respect might be nice. I was a target in the Great Hunt, you know. Unless we find a collector, we'll need to fence these. Quick turnaround will forfeit a big cut, but it'll be a nice bonus.
Let's just see the credits.
I'll see what I can do. Let me tell you a little thing about opportunity.
Enlighten me.
Sometimes, when it knocks, you put it away for a rainy day. Take this group of fresh-off-the-shuttle Arcona I met at the Mossila spaceport before you showed up. I left those Arcona with a stellar impression of Geller rowing, helpful merchant, and earmarked them for a return trip once things died down.
What makes them good marks?
You know why they were traveling to a dump like Tatooine? Seems fresh water's hard to come by on Kona. These rubes heard about moisture farming on Tatooine and figured it was their ticket to riches. Fleecing these yokels will be like taking candy from a baby. The key is finding the right scheme.
You really enjoy seeing what you can get away with, don't you?
Surely a Mandalorian can appreciate testing one's limits. Moisture farmers aren't exactly rolling in credits, but a whole colony of them can add up. You'll be pleased to hear I finished fencing those little Alderanian trinkets that came into our possession. Made a nice sum, even with the rush.
Hang on to it. You've earned a little bonus.
Don't mind if I do. It'll complement my modest finder's fee nicely. And thanks. Have I mentioned how much pulling that little con has improved my mood? I think that auction put to bed any lingering doubts that Tiresias is dead and gone. And aside from knowing my new identity ought to stick, I'd almost forgotten how much I love a good scheme.
Fun and profit. What's not to like?
Getting shot at for one, but working with you has made that pretty commonplace. It's hard to work a proper hustle when you're on the run, chum. I've pulled more heists than cons in recent memory. That was the kind of racket my former partner preferred. Simple, bold, effective. Used to argue about that a lot.
You had other preferences.
Armed robbery is one of the few things I enjoy in moderation. My preference is to be long gone by the time anyone gets wise. That's a lot easier without bounty hunters breathing down my neck. It's about time I got back in the game. Can't afford to let myself get out of practice, after all.